Here I've got a wok, and what I'm going to do is toast some spices. And the spices have to be toasted to make my actual laksa paste. So in goes cumin seeds, ground coriander, turmeric, ground cumin, and coriander seeds. When you're going to cook spices, you've got to toast them. You've got to roast them. They've got to come alive. They explode and they become something very, very different. So those spices are going to go into my food processor. The laksa itself has a very, very interesting texture, and it's chalky almost, and that texture comes from candle nuts. So I've got my spices in here. I'm going to add to that a good handful of my candle nuts. I'm going to add to that shrimp paste. Kapi, as it's sometimes called. In she goes. That is strong, it is salty. And then we add coriander root. The leaves are lovely, but the root gives it a real intense perfume. Next, add chopped onion, ginger, garlic, lime leaf, chili, and finally chopped lemongrass. Then blitz. So what you've got now is you'll see this sort of dryish paste because of the candle nuts. Every time you make a curry paste, add a tiny bit of water. You never know how much because you don't know how dry the paste will be, but it makes all the difference. Now the paste is starting to form, you see? Almost like peanut butter. And that is exactly what I want. The laksa paste is lovely and aromatic, but I also want my laksa to have some heat. So I'm using some shop-bought red curry paste for a fiery kick, which just needs frying in a little bit of oil. As you walk down the streets of Penang, there are literally piles and piles of containers full of different coloured pastes. And each stall has a different type. And you know what? You can get whatever you like, any sort of paste you want in most supermarkets these days. For sweetness, add some sugar to the red paste and fry for a few minutes before setting to one side. Then into the wok, add a little coconut milk. So, our yellow laksa paste goes into the wok. Stir that around and you've got this lovely paste that starts to fry. Remember, in this laksa paste stock, there's not a huge amount of chilli. So you can make it as fiery as you like, depending upon how much of the red curry paste you add to it. So you see what we're doing here? One is about flavour, sourness, sharpness, and the texture of the candle nuts, and the other one is about depth of spice, and that's why you need the two pastes. So it's in with a couple of spoons of red curry paste, the rest of the coconut milk, chicken stock, fish sauce, and a touch more sugar. I want it to come to the boil, because as soon as it comes to the boil, it starts to infuse and the flavour become deep. Here I have some peeled prawns, and here I have my tofu, deep fried tofu, and my fish balls. The prawns go in to cook for a couple of minutes, and we're ready to serve. I've soaked some rice noodles in hot water to soften. They go into the bottom of the pot. Then goes some of my tofu, and then bean sprouts. Then in goes more noodles, shredded cabbage, more bean sprouts, the fish balls, and the prawns. And then the exciting bit, your sauce gets poured straight over the top, through the middle and into the noodles. And there you have it. That is what I call a decent laksa. A little bit more than $5, but very delicious.